All right, good afternoon. We're Liquor Commission, which was supposed to start at 11:30 due to a long meeting, is now starting now. It's at 12:15. It's August 14th. Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Berman. Mr. Berman, are you there?
Mr. Berman, we see your name. We'll get back to you.
Caius? Linder? Sturgis?
Okay, we do have a quorum.
Berman
Oh.
is here.
Oh,
Thank you.
welcome,
Zoom.
Mr. Berman. Happy that you're there. May I please have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of June 25th, 2025? Yes, sir.
I'd like to move to allow Mr. Berman to attend the meeting and participate.
Oh, thank you. Of course. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. We have approval from everybody to allow Mr. Berman to attend. Very good. Heard no no's. So now going back, approval of minutes, June 25th, 2025.
Caius, I would ask for unanimous consent for the approval of the minutes from June 25, 2025.
Okay, very good. I don't see anybody saying no to that. Unanimous consent is given. We now have public comment. We have a number of speakers.
Madam Chair, I did have a question on the approval of minutes.
Of course, sir.
Is Surgis, and I guess this is for Mr. Frank, but in those meeting minutes, did we close that meeting or extend it to this meeting?
The meeting is closed, but the liquor commission is a little bit different in the sense that it's always an ongoing meeting all year long until you vote on all liquor licenses for the year, whenever your conclusion of the calendar year for the liquor licenses happen.
Okay, and where I'm going with that is that I'm not understanding, or I just need to understand. I think we are singularly here today for a reconsideration. My understanding of a reconsideration is that that can only occur in the meeting that it was presented and only by a member of the prevailing group. And if this isn't a continuation of the meeting and is a new meeting, then this would be a new application that's being submitted, and I don't believe that's the case. Could you help me understand which scenario we're operating under?
So you are generally correct on the concepts of reconsideration, except for specifically within the language of reconsideration, it says meeting or session. The session is the specifics here as it relates to the liquor commission, because you guys are basically in a year-long session. You have individual meetings that make up that session because ultimately you vote for the final total of liquor licenses at the end of the year. As it relates to the second part of the reconsideration, I'm not speaking to that yet because it's not clear to me whether somebody's bringing that forward or not. The chair has the authority to bring it up if no motion for reconsideration is made under the terms you've generally outlined, then it's not a proper motion to reconsider at that time.
So if I'm understanding you clearly, Madam Chair can ask the question, but if Mr. Berman nor I ask for reconsideration, that motion does not come to the floor.
Yeah, I think that's generally correct.
Okay, my second question to you is, and I'm not torpedoing anybody. I am not grandstanding. I put this in an email to Madam Chair last night, trying to protect the county, given the circumstances, that if Madam Chair had recused herself for the first vote, does she have the privilege, or should she be presiding over this, or should whoever, and I don't even know who this would be, the co-chair, be doing this since she had recused herself? I just don't want this coming back later someplace and somebody saying, oopsie doopsie.
So there is case law that essentially outlines that, and my understanding, I'm bringing this up as a preface, my understanding that for the purposes of the recusal is for accepted political donations. There's case law out there that essentially says political donations do not create an actual conflict, which means there's no statutory conflict. However, there can always be considered an appearance of impropriety conflict, which leaves it a little bit more in the hands of the individual. So
My
Just-
point is, if you can defend it, super. If not, we should be making an adjustment to whomever the vice chair is. And I'll leave that up to you.
There is no vice chair of this committee. I am the liquor commissioner.
so
Appoint.
So the other thing I'll say is her recusal of the last does not require her to recuse this time. I know this is a weird situation. We have thoroughly looked at the law on this. As it stands right now, she does not have to recuse, but she could choose to recuse based on that political donation if she so chooses.
Point of order, may I have a clarification?
Yes, sir.
Our friend, Mr. Surges, indicated that only he nor Mr. Berman could ask for reconsideration. Since there was no prevailing side, there's nobody who, I mean, there's no difference between that side and the other side, is there? I mean,
So because there is a tie, it fails to achieve a majority. Thus, the prevailing side is the failing side.
it is, okay.
So
Madam Chair.
are we to begin or I'm sorry, are your questions been answered, sir?
As long as this commission is satisfied, I have fulfilled my obligation to ask those questions.
Okay, very
So
good.
I mean, we can govern ourselves accordingly. He is our attorney. If that's the way he says to go, then I am comfortable in proceeding.
All right, excellent. Mr. Caius,
I guess maybe it's moot. It's just for my edification. From recusing yourself from the vote doesn't necessarily recuse you from chairing the meeting. Aren't those two separate tasks?
So as you recall from the last meeting, she basically chaired the meeting until such time that the discussion brought up, then she removed herself from the room, which is what we typically ask of statutory conflicts, because then so right now she's counting towards quorum. So if you were to take a vote right now, if she abstains or says any other word, it counts as a no. If she steps away, she no longer counts towards quorum, so she's not for it or against it by operation of being here. So there's two different ways that can be handled. There's two different ways it can be handled. She could do the same thing again if she wants to. She could also stay here.
How
be
do I?
counted- Be counted towards the quorum, which, you know, if she were to abstain, it would count towards no, or she could choose to vote.
Not.
all right, so to begin, we have a number of, thank
This
you.
is
Oh,
Madam
Miss-
Chair.
Yeah, Mr. Berman, yes, please.
All right. You know, I am, being of a no vote on the original, I have not changed my attitude in any way. As far as I understand statute, that if it has to be brought back by someone who voted no, it appears to me that we don't have that. And I declare that we're not having a meeting.
Mr. Frank, could you respond to Mr. Berman, please?
We aren't even at the point where this is even coming up. So while I appreciate Mr. Surges and I appreciate Mr. Berman's questions and comments, let's get to the point where it's time to actually bring it up. I mean, to be honest with you, public comment hasn't even happened yet. Public comment, in my opinion, always must happen first before we even get into the business of the meeting.
We would
So-
not be having a meeting unless one of us called for the meeting.
Okay,
So
so I
therefore,
totally
there's no
understand
meeting
that, but
until-
if, Mr. Berman, if you want to do that, why don't you make a motion to have the reconsideration brought forward above the agenda in front of public comment? And if that's done by the larger liquor commission, then we are now in compliance with our agenda, and that's not a problem. So you need to make that motion or somebody else does.
I will make that
Mr. Berman, I believe you're saying you are not motioning for reconsideration.
I am not motioning for reconsideration.
No.
So that's two different things. Right now, we are not at the point where reconsideration is even being brought to the floor by
I
the
am
chair.
not, then my motion would be that this meeting is completely out of order because we do not have the qualifications for this meeting.
So if you want to make that motion, you can. What I'm suggesting to you is if you want to bring the reconsideration right up right now, then make a motion to move old business to before public comment And if the commission agrees by a vote, then that can be done. And then you can immediately have this brought up. Then the two of you, it sounds like you're not going to be making a motion to reconsider. Then it fails for lack of a motion.
Very
Are
good.
you motioning to adjourn, Dale?
Yes,
Surges seconds.
So that's priority motion. It can go to vote.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Clerk, could you call the roll for adjournment?
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Caius,
Guys, no.
Linder,
Linder, no.
Sturgis,
Surges, yes.
Pirog.
I want to continue on with the meeting.
So is that a no?
No.
To adjourn, failed, 2 yeses, 3 nos.
So without any other motions, you can begin public comment.
All right, let's begin public comment, please. So our first speaker is Mr. Anderson, Brian.
Good afternoon, Brian Anderson, Sugar Grove, Illinois. I attended this last Liquor Commission meeting. I did not speak. I sat in the audience. I'm here today to speak. And like Board Member Surgis, I would hope, and what Mr. Caius also said, I have no problem with you as the Liquor Commissioner chairing it, but I would encourage you to recuse yourself at the vote. Why? I'm holding the documents right here. We've discussed it before of the donations. Now, let's get to the fact of the matter. I've done my own research, and when these municipalities get into these situations, I want us to take a look, Mr. Caius and Mr. Linder and Mr. Berman and Mr. Surgis. It's public safety. That's what we're talking about here, is public safety. I've been coming to these meetings for 2.5 years. It's very clear Kane County touts itself as a family-friendly, safe county. We don't have 10 strip clubs in Kane County. There is one. They've been without a liquor license since 2012. They want to continue to operate in that manner. They can so choose to. When you give someone a liquor license, that now from a legal standpoint and the data heightens everything. Public safety concerns everywhere in a 15, 20-mile radius. Now we bring into the consideration as far as our sheriff and police. Data from Kane County Sheriff Office shows that alcohol serving venues with similar geographic content result typically in a measurable increase disorderly conduct, DUIs, late night disturbances. There was just a meeting where most of you sat on in the judicial and public safety. We're wrestling with money as it is. This is not about, Madam Chair, collecting, if they would get this license, an extra $26,000 to the bottom line for the budget. Let's make that perfectly clear. This is about the entire community as a whole. You can't tout Kane County, we're a safe and friendly county on one hand, and then go ahead and pass, which, by the way, Mr. Berman so eloquently put in the last meeting, it is a privilege and a responsibility and does not need to be granted. Thank you very much.
All right, the next speaker is Kathy Showalter. Kathy?
Hi there. My name is Kathy Showalter. I do live in Kane County. 3 years of my entire life. I have a concern. When is no not no? It was voted against. How many times does the same establishment have the opportunity to come to the board and reapply for a liquor license? I could not find that. There's all kinds of data out there. but that's a good question. You voted it no, okay? Madam Chair, again, I say to you, shame, shame, shame on you for taking money from the establishment for your campaign committee. Is this what we want to see in Kane County? I think not. I sure don't. I don't want my grandkids to think this is what we're about. I'm sorry. It's my opinion. I have freedom of speech. This particular family has been in this predicament for several years, yes. I have learned a lot about the establishment, as many of you have. I'm certain that they have probably got a lot of feedback at their establishment for the press release that said we voted it, you voted it no. Again, Madam Chairman took money for her campaign. We, as concerned Kane County citizens, find this a little fishy. Is this a payoff for the liquor license? It sounds fishy. Is this something that is coming out again? Are you going to be accepting more money for this second time around? I don't know. Okay, it's a learning curve for all of us, but we're learning. Rumor has it that they could come back and sue Kane County. Where does that put us as a Kane County? Does this now, if they come back and sue us for this, does it open the door for other establishments to come back and sue Kane County for different other committees? It could. Think about that. Think about that when you're voting. Where do you want to stand in Kane County? All right, have we all lost principle here? I commend you all for taking time and doing all of this and doing what you do. But somewhere it's common sense.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman?
Mr. Berman, we're in public speaking right now.
Okay.
Do you,
Later.
can you hold until we get done? We have several other people who are speaking.
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. Ms. Meyer, Jeannie Meyer. And I am afraid, am I always saying your last name incorrectly? Every time I see it, I'm going, I'm mispronouncing
Oh,
it.
it's close. Thank you. Janine Mayer.
Mayor,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you. This board already voted this request down in June. A 2-2 tie meant the license was denied. That should have been the end of it. Now it's back. Not because any new facts have come to light, but because the applicant is pushing to discredit a moral obligation made by Commissioner Berman, suggesting that moral reasoning is out of bounds is wrong legally, wrong procedurally, and wrong ethically. This is bullying to reverse a decision that was already made. Under Illinois Liquor Control Act 235, a liquor license is purely a personal privilege and shall not constitute property. The law allows licensing authority to weigh public morals, community welfare, and the character of the applicant when deciding whether to issue or deny a license. Robert's Rules of Order also permits moral reasoning in debate. Commissioner Berman was entirely within his rights to speak about this. It's deeply troubling that the Kane County Liquor Commissioner, Madam Chair, has accepted thousands of dollars in campaign contributions from the very business seeking this license. This raises legitimate concerns about impartiality and public trust. We all know the family's criminal history. The current owner is Anne Marie Batista, operating through Elgin Entertainment Holdings. But in 2012, the club was owned by Dominic Batista and his son, Anthony Batista. Father-son team federally convicted of running an illegal internet gambling operation, tax evasion, hiding over $4.6 million from the IRS, Chicago Tribune reported they skimmed $4 million in cash from strippers using blackjacks to hide additional income from their bookmaking business. They served prison time and lost their liquor license. We're told this is a completely different ownership, but how likely is it? An 81-year-old grandmother just happened to buy the same club from her convicted family members after they lose their license. Even if no law is broken, optics suggest an attempt to launder the reputation of this business. Approving this would set a dangerous precedent that a handful of votes under pressure can override a prior decision, ignore criminal history, and look past ethical red flags. Protect King County's integrity. Vote no for this license again, and this time make it final.
All righty. The next speaker is Denise Theobald.
Good morning. It's clear from previous meetings that many here in the audience and those on this board oppose granting a liquor license for Blackjack's Gentleman Club. What's troubling is that much of this opposition comes from personal or moral objections, not from legal or procedural reasoning. The law is clear. You can't deny a license based on personal beliefs. Doing so would be prejudicial and in violation of free speech and expression. The concerns of safety, well, this license would actually make the establishment safer. Without a liquor license, patrons can be there at age 18. 18. With a liquor license, the minimum age goes up to 21. I think most parents would welcome this. Liquor license rules also require stricter oversight, including more clothing requirements for the performers, inspections, and security measures that don't currently apply. The concerns about criminal activity, well, the new owner of this business has been fully vetted. No criminal record, no arrest, has passed all background checks, checked off all the boxes for the requirements, and they have strong security put in place. The location is remote. It would create more jobs and bring in more revenue. Police calls have been rare, and those few were for people who already arrived intoxicated, and they were refused entry. Oh, and the claims I've heard about a murder at this location, that is false. Exotic dancing, burlesque, nude performances have been part of world cultures for centuries, as an art, as entertainment. In fact, my father was a performer back in the day. He was a magician in a nightclub and daily performed for thousands of children. He did, however, at times perform with semi-nude dancers. It was the entertainment. He wasn't a sex trafficker or a front man for a brothel. He and the women he worked aside were hardworking, wonderful people, and many were friends of family. And you know what? It put food on our tables. Finally, the latest, these are, by the way, these are all legal forms of entertainment. It's legal. If you don't like it, don't go to the establishment. Finally, the latest accusation against Madam Chair for pay to play. Let's be clear, receiving a campaign donation from a local business is 100% legal. Full stop. First, it was demanded that she recuse herself because of that donation, so she did. And now her political opponents want her to vote so they can put her on record. Which is it? It's just another tiring political nothing burger. Denying a license because of family ties or hypotheticals is not a basis for refusal. Denying this license for moral or political reasons sets a dangerous precedent and undermines the freedoms many claim to defend.
Thank you so much. Thank
I
you.
urge this board.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Michelle Betteg.
Michelle Betteg, St. Charles. I guess my issue isn't necessarily with the establishment. They have, maybe it's time for redemption. I don't know. I don't agree with it personally. However, my issue was with Madam Chair again. Pay to play, absolutely. I have sat here for 3 years and watched how donors have benefited from Chair Parag's donations. Time and time again, the unions have taken all of the work from local businesses out of Kane County. Donations have flooded into her bank account from donations outside of Kane County. Blackjack Strip Club, as we know, has donated money. One thing, we would like you not to vote because it is not right to vote. Mr. Caius, you're up for reelection. I need to look at your D2s. I'm not sure if you've received money from Blackjacks, but again, if you have, you should not be voting. Also, Mr. Linder, you should not either. The fact of the matter is you vote yes, both of you voted yes. If you do vote yes, I know you both will have opponents and both of you will have to answer your constituents for these votes. There are problems that arise that when you're dealing with certain establishments. Is this safer or not safer with alcohol? I'm assuming it's not safer. Having alcohol in the establishment. The vote was clear. The vote was no. Mr. Berman, I believe, was being used by his good friend, Madam Chair, and illness state that he's in. She was probably banking on the fact that he did not know about the meeting or he was incapable of voting. I'm very thrilled to see him.
Point of
on-
order, ma'am. I think that is
Nope, I have
inappropriate
free,
at all.
point of order to you. There's nothing to point of order. I have freedom to speak on the floor. We've discussed this for 3 years now. We were banking on the fact that Mr. Berman didn't know about the meeting or that he wasn't well enough. And I am super happy that he's here because he did make his voice heard as a District 2 board member that he voted no. I hope you do recuse yourself and the impropriety. That's a whole nother topic. This is about Madam Chair who shakes down Kane County employees to vote yes for the sales tax and brings in union people to do the shakedowns to members. We've had many whistleblowers. It's the same thing. Time and time again, it's pay to play. Thank you.
Our next speaker is, thank you, Simon Andrew. Simon?
Hello, my name is Simon. I live in Elgin. I'd like to take my 3 minutes to reflect on the disjunction between a little neighborhood kid and the establishment euphemistically known as a gentleman's club. I grew up near Gale Borden in Elgin, and my mother took me regularly to events in East St. Charles, so we drove down Route 25 quite often. I remember one day when my 8-year-old vocabulary didn't include several words, that we passed the building and I saw the glaring pink letters flashing, "Hot girls, full nude." I asked my mother, "What are they talking about? I don't understand what nude means." She never gave me a straight answer, although I eventually figured it out. That was 15 years ago. Now I have no desire for my own wife to get asked that same question from her own kids as she drives down Route 25 in future years. New houses are being built on both sides of 25, encroaching on the Blackjacks area, and I think it's time for the establishment to go in general. The question today is not some academic debate on whether we have the legal right to ban such institutions always and everywhere. It is simply for you to decide whether this institution should be in our county, next to our homes. If you vote to approve this liquor license, you are voting to support a sign that says "Hot girls, full nude," flashing in front of a passing school bus. You are voting to encourage the young males in your precincts to objectify their female companions more than they already do. You are voting to encourage young women to train themselves to become seductresses who scavenge for sugar daddies. Don't vote for this. Please vote no.
Our next speaker is Steve Seraphin. Seraphin? Thank you, Steve. Got it? Yep. We'll get you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Blackjacks Strip Club. First, I'd like to point out the most local strip club, Heavenly Bodies, closed last year. We're going to be looking at those patrons from Cook County coming to our establishment here for blackjacks. There's been no impact study done on this location. The capacity, the parking, the traffic. Property is a 2-lane highway, no turning lanes into this property. This is going to have an impact on our sheriff's department that is already understaffed due to the fact that we have a $29 million deficit. A couple of more impacts from the closed strip club. We're going to have people coming in from Cook County where Heavenly Bodies was, Elk Grove Village. Do we really want that? The impact of nonviolent crimes will increase, such as drug use, drug dealing, and solicitation. I have a printout here, which I'd like to give to all the board members. I don't want to go into it so much, but 5 days ago on a chat from r/strip clubs was Black Men's Gentlemen's Club about solicitation. Proven fact. Any board member that wants a copy of it or our state's attorney, I will give it to you. I had the pleasure of walking in and meeting Ms. Batuta today. We have a lot of background growing up in Melrose Park. I actually know her son, Anthony. But the fact that remains that there are on our internet chat clubs stating solicitation from $50 to $400 going on under her tutelage. Thank you. Anybody would like to see this? I will give it to you.
All right, the next speaker is Steve Leffler.
Hi, everyone. Steve Leffler. I didn't come to speak about the hot button, hot potato that's going on today. I really came to just say our liquor, our system of liquor control and how the society is structured here today isn't really fantastic. I was just over in Europe where things are a lot less strict than they are here. And it was a very enjoyable experience to be out along the river with a couple of friends and a picnic blanket and a couple of beers and not having to worry about things. So I know liquor causes a lot of issues in our society, but there's also another society that's got 500 million people in it and provides 17% of the GDP of the world, and they don't have quite such an uptight viewpoint on all this. So I didn't come to speak about blackjacks today. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in about that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Somebody left a phone up here.
Oh, good. I think I believe that does conclude our public speaking today. So I would like to been asked by our state's attorney to go now into executive.
Madam Chair, can I make a comment, please?
Oh, Mr. Berman, you did have a comment. Yes, please.
You know, I think we're missing our point here. The issue is not whether someone is taking money or accepted a donation for a reason or some reason, or whether there's actually yes, I will give you this if you give me this kind of thing. You know, in my 30 years in government, mainly as a volunteer because the pay is not anything, but I've never ever had anyone question the gifts that are given, the donations that are given to a campaign. They get campaign money from many sources, and they have many different ideas as to why they were going to donate to your campaign. Many ideas, many different. And that's what's the difference between strawberry and chocolate, I guess. We all have different ideas. I spent a lot of time thinking about this and thinking about the issue. I think the issue has already been made in this case. I was a liquor commissioner for 20 years in our village, and I think that the liquor commission forum is definitely good. It's just the same as every other government entity. We elect people to make decisions for us. We appoint them to make decisions for us, and then those decisions are made. Now, you may not like them, but they're made by the people that were elected or appointed to do so. So I think we should accept what they have done. So I feel that we're missing the point by trying to pin this on whether you've taken money for play or what. We're dealing with the issue of the liquor commission making a decision, and that decision should hold. So I could go on for hours probably on this, but I'm not going to. So I thank you very much for listening.
Okay, very good. I was considering saying this, and I'd like to follow up to Mr. Berman. I have a few words that I was working on last night that I'd like to share with all of us. And then we will have to go by the request of the state's attorney to go into executive session. This is a very complex issue, and I was called by several people yesterday to have me take a look at some information that was published on Kane County Speaks regarding this issue. And I found it disturbing because there were some remarks that I thought were somewhat threatening. And I'm sure considering and concerning the voices of saying that a business was going to physically threaten one of our board members, make an offer that they cannot refuse. This is not a television show. These are our neighbors. These are people who live within our community, people who send their children to our schools. These are, whether or not you appreciate who they are your neighbors in the general sense of the word. And with that, I decided to take a look and see what law dictated. And I am not a lawyer, so please, gentlemen who are attorneys who are here, please forgive me, but this is my interpretation of what I was able to read, and I'll be brief. As I mentioned, this is a pretty complex issue between community standards, public safety, and First Amendment rights, something that we talked at length about last year during the fall when freedom of speech conversations were having here at this board. But this time it's specifically focused on Kane County's adult entertainment ordinance and its regulation of nudity. Kane County, like many jurisdictions, has enacted ordinances that regulate adult entertainment venues, including establishments that feature nude dancing. These laws are designed to protect public morals, prevent neighborhood disturbances, and ensure community safety. They often include zoning restrictions, licensing requirements, and rules governing performer conduct, such as prohibiting, touching, or explicit acts. At the same time, the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution guarantees the freedom of speech and expression. This protection extends in many cases to expressive conduct like nude dancing, which some courts have recognized as a form of artistic or expressive speech. However, this right is not absolute. Courts have consistently upheld regulations that serve substantial government interests, such as preventing crime, maintaining public order, and safeguarding community morality, so long as these laws are narrowly tailored. Blackjack's Gentlemen's Club request for a liquor license involves navigating Kane County's licensing process, ensuring compliance with zoning laws and following state regulations under Illinois law. After the review of Blackjack's liquor license application, there was no issue found. In Kane County, the ordinances aim to strike this delicate balance, ensuring that adult entertainment does not undermine community standards while respecting performers' First Amendment rights. Licensing and zoning restrictions are examples of lawful regulations that, when properly enforced, uphold this constitutional balance. While the First Amendment offers broad protections, local ordinances like those in Kane County demonstrate that sensible regulations can coexist with constitutional rights, protecting both individual freedoms and community values. Now, when this was first presented previously during our previous meeting, it was presented that there had followed every regulation that was included, that there was no citing of law enforcement issues, there was no citing of sexual impropriety happening. We saw no issues of prostitution. We saw no issues of trafficking. There were no issues at all that were presented except the fact that there was nude dancing. Now, as the liquor commissioner, I've had the opportunity to weigh on whether or not institutions were going to have their liquor licenses resubmitted and reallowed. Last year, we turned down in Mill Creek, which was going to be a exchange of willing or unwilling partners, marital partners, at a facility in Mill Creek where there was proposed, I did not see it actually, but what I was told, chains on the wall. There was also an opportunity that I readily turned down, did not make to the board, where there was going to be a nude camp where horseback riding was going to be allowed. I also turned down the opportunity, in which we had heard about, that there was going to be some racing that was having betting done that was illegal where liquor was brought in. So the moral aspect of all of this is very keen for me. I've lived here for over 25 years. But morality and dance are two separate things to me. These are a way that people can make a living, whether or not you think it's an appropriate living or not. I believe that this industry, that this particular business offers their employees a 401k. Now, having worked previously in the entertainment business and had managed some incredible dance companies, I can tell you that most dance companies don't offer their employees 401ks or health insurance. But this one particular does. Now, as an employer, I would say that for a small business, that's commendable because of that expense. So I cannot put judgment value personally on whether or not you feel this is moral or immoral. But what we do know and what we will be able to enforce is that we're no longer see full nude signs out, so that our children going past will not see full nudity, because that would no longer exist here in Kane County. Because a liquor license does not allow full nudity at all. So that would be evaporated. And right now, as it continues on, and they have every right to continue on with their business, full nudity would be allowed. So we have an issue now that has been brought forward, that was brought forward publicly, and I would like to offer the opportunity now to go into executive session. And I will take a vote on it, please, for, let me get out my notes form.
Madam Chair, I do have a question for you before we do that.
Yes, sir.
On the three opportunities that you mentioned in Mill Creek and horseback riding and whatever the third one was, in your capacity.
Illegal betting.
Whatever they were, in your capacity as the commissioner, you said that you declined those. did those make application and come to the commission? Or did they never materialize into an application?
I believe that the one with Mill Creek did, but it was turned down for a variety of different reasons. The other one, was stopped by the sheriffs, and I believe it was stopped internally before it came to the Liquor Commission. And the other one was a changing zoning before it even got through the zoning board. It was just reprehensible.
Okay, I just don't remember seeing those or voting on those, so thank you.
So I'd like to go into executive session for pending, probable, and or imminent litigation. May I have us?
Caius moves that we go to executive session for the previous mentioned litigation.
Linder
Potential.
seconds.
Okay. Clerk, call the roll to go into executive session, please.
Berman. Caius,
Caius, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Surges,
Yes.
Purok.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into closed session. We'll bring you back if you'd like to stay. This should not take too long.
Okay, a reminder to the public as well, please take all coats, bags, purses, anything that you have. Leave no personal items in the room. For those online, please accept the invite to go into the closed session. Be aware we are live streaming until I tell you we are successfully in closed session. So accept those invites and give us a moment to get all back together again.
What? I thought I was gonna get lunch, that's why I stayed. If offered pizza, that's fine.
I have two online individuals that have not accepted.
What? You don't want to sit by me, Rick?
No offense, Chris, I was sitting here earlier, I didn't want to move, I already plugged in and worked.
All warmed up. Huh?
Yeah.
They all say.
Yes. Oh, yeah, Mr.
I just happened to look into the meat, so
Absolutely.
You lucked into it?
figured I'd stay and watch, it's pretty there.
You didn't get up and leave? May you live in interesting times.
We do. That's for sure.
Well, I think actually, I'll turn this-
I wasn't ready.
Miss Allen, we need you to accept your invite. Thank you.
Personal. Like we're not being threatened already, and she knows I got an opponent Yeah. Did you just throw up your arms?
Yeah, I mean, we're never going to reach a consensus that makes everybody happy.
Not in this committee.
And what?
All right, digitally you're in open session.
All right, very good. Ladies, gentlemen, we're back at, oh, no, gentlemen, I'm the lady. Gentlemen, we are back at open session. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Berman,
Berman's here. Zoom.
Caius,
Kai is present.
Linder,
Linda here.
Surges,
Surge is present.
Huron.
I'm here as well. Our next item of business is under old business, a reconsideration of application by Blackjack's Gentlemen's Club. Mr. Surges or Mr. Berman, would you like to offer a move forward, a reconsideration of the application?
I do not, ma'am.
Mr. Berman,
Berman, I would not.
that then fails. May I have a motion and a second to adjourn?
Let
Motion
Linda
made,
move to
Berman.
adjourn.
Okay, second, please, Mr.
Caius.
Berman.
Thank you. Thank you,
Berman,
Mr. Berman,
anybody?
Mr. Caius.